Yo, what is going on, everyone? It is Wraith here, back with another video. And in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down how you can become a better player, whether you're very basic, you're not that good of a player, how you can get to the next level and become a little bit better, or even if you're already a solid player and you just want to get to that next level and start doing better in tournaments. This will be for everyone. So if you're looking forward to this video, make sure you slap a like button on it, hit that subscribe button, and let's get right into the video. So for the first tip, and this is such an important one and so many people fail to understand how important it really is you need to try and find better players to play with than you, and find people who actually support you and don't bring you down and make you worse as a player. So a lot of people, I will literally read almost every comment in my videos. If you guys don't know, I always try and reply to them, but so many comments I see, especially on my videos on how to improve, is people being like, how do I find good friends? Or how all my friends tell me I should quit, or I'm playing with my friends and they just bring me down, make me think I'm the worst player ever, blah, 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 and it's just not fun to play with. And honestly, like, don't play with them. I don't know what else to say. Like, it's such a big deal that some of you guys don't understand that by playing with terrible people who are just bringing you down, who are pushing you to quit the game, who are just making fun of you every single time you make a mistake, etc., that's not going to help you improve. That's going to do the exact opposite. You're going to not feel good. You're going to feel less confident. You're not going to have that winning mentality because you're always going to be scared of messing up. So many people struggle with that thing, and it's, in my opinion, I understand that it's fun to play with your friends, but if you really want to be a better player and get to that next level, whether you're not that good and you want to get just a little bit better, or you're already pretty good and you want to get to that even higher next level, is you need to drop them and go find better people to play with. And I know you might be like, I like playing with my friends, which is 100% okay. Play with them when you aren't grinding. Play with them like once a day, or a couple minutes, or like an hour every single day, or something like that. You don't have to just completely drop them and leave them, but go find people that are better than them, as well as actually supportive. And a lot of you guys might be like, well, how do I find them? I don't know how to find people. And there's tons of different ways that you can literally go in zone wars, box fight fills. You can go join discords for your specific server and just add people. Like, if you join a Clicks box fight, which I'll talk about in a bit, and you're playing with a somewhat decent player and you guys are talking and he seems like a good person, or she seems like a good person, add them and play with them. Like, just play with people who are more supportive, who are pushing you to be better, because by playing with people who aren't, you're never going to get to that next level. You're never going to become a better player. And a lot of you guys in my comment sections are saying like, oh, I'm playing to get better so I can compete with my boyfriend or my girlfriend or my friends or whatever the case is. And 100%, that's good. Ask them questions. Ask them how they got so good. Ask them what they would do in each situation. Like, once you get with better players and people who are better than you, ask them what they should have done and what you should have done in this situation, or what they would have done in that situation, right? By playing with better people who are supportive and trying to allow you to become a better player, you're going to improve so much more than anything else you can possibly do. So now my next tip is play more creative. Now, I know what you're thinking. Creative is like a sweaty grinder place where Benji Fishy and all these top players go to grind 4 or 5 hours a day and become the best players in the world. But in reality, creative isn't that. Like, 100% you can grind in it and you can become a better player, and it is sweaty, but there's so many things that Epic has added into creative that makes it a lot more fun to practice, sometimes in my opinion way more fun than actually playing the game. So basically what I recommend in creative is, if you don't want to grind 24/7, you don't want to be the best player in the world, like, you don't need to go in and practice your mechanics for 3 hours, but go in and join like the combat section. And there's so many places you can join in there. For example, there's like the Clicks duo box fight fills, like I said in the last tip. There's realistic fills, there's zone wars. There's so many different things that you can do that, in my opinion, are sometimes more fun than the actual game playing, as well as it helps you improve so much quicker and so much better, because basically you're taking more fights, you're in different situation. Because think about it, if you're in an actual game, you're maybe fighting once or twice every like 20 minutes, even if you die, if you don't die. In zone wars or in box fights or in realistics, you're fighting like 10-15 times in a span of like 10 minutes, right? So you're gonna get a lot more fights, and you're gonna get a lot more practice, and you're gonna learn how to fight people in different situations. And if you guys think like, oh, well, maybe I'm just not good enough to play the duo box fights, or I'm not good enough to play with the realistics yet, which are 100% okay. You don't need to be that good yet. And if you don't feel confident enough going in there, play the zone wars, play creative fill. Like there's maps where you can literally join and there's just people there, and it's just a free map, and you can build, you can shoot. Some people fight, some people don't fight. You can literally just practice and play. Like just playing creative will help you improve overall, and you don't have to do the most sweaty things like box fights. If you feel like you're good enough to play them, they will 100% help you improve, and the more you do it, the better you're going to get. But if you just don't feel not confident enough, then still play creative, but just join with your friends or join with some other people in fill and literally just build and play around like a free-for-all or something like that, right? You don't need to be unreal, but it's still really fun and it's still really good to improve. So the next tip is figuring out why you're struggling and why you're not doing it. And so many people will, like I said, leave me comments and be like, okay, so in this specific situation, I was building up and then they shot me down and I dropped from height and then they just pressured me and then killed me, right? And I understand how there's millions of different situations, right? So that's the problem that a lot of people face, is you can't keep thinking that, how can I fit, like how I need to figure out how to win this specific situation to help me become a better player. It always happens, right? There's different situations in every single fight. Every single fight is a little bit different, and the only way you can get better is by getting in more fights and learning how to do specific outcomes for specific specific fights. So for example, let's say, which is the main thing that I get in comments, is someone sprays at you with their AR when you're trying to build, and then they break you down, and then they take height and pressure you from the bottom, right? So you might be like, okay, well, what do I do in this specific situation? And in my opinion, the best way to improve upon that is think about what you could have done after the fight. So for example, in that specific situation, you could have built up with a wall in front of your ramp, and then if they start shooting you down, you need to stop building, because if you keep building up, they're just going to shoot you down from the base and shoot where you started building. So you can just stop building, go back down a little bit, hold the wall, and then so they can't break the ramp, and then once they're reloading, then you can push them, right? Or if they shoot you down, literally box up and wait for them, right? There's so many small things that you can do in specific situations, and I can't unfortunately tell you what to do in every situation, because there's literally millions of different situations. So what you can do, and kind of similar to what I said in the last step, is that you need to get in more fights and learn what to do in specific situations. And the only way you can do that is by playing the game, playing creative, and getting in more fights. If you're just, I know it's like you're trying to go for a win or something like that, and you're only getting one fight and you're trying to go for the win, but if you really want to start working on like those small things that are making you bad, for example, you can't build fight or something like that, you need to go practice your build fights. You need to go build in creative. You need to ask your boyfriend, girlfriend, your friends, and just be like, hey, can you practice shooting me when I'm trying to build up, so I can learn how to kind of block you from shooting me down, and then I can push you, right? Just practice those specific things that you're struggling with, and then overall those are going to start moving into different situations. Because if you can start learning how to build fight or protect yourself while building up towards a player, well then that's the next thing to kind of get better at build fighting, or that's the next thing to kind of get better at pushing people when building, right? So like every single small situation that you learn ties into different situations that are going to help you overall as a player. So the next tip, and so many people still don't do this to this day, and I say it almost every single video, I don't know why people don't do it. Trust me, it is one of the best ways to get better, and it's watching pro players. Now I know you might think like, most of my time I say you need to like go and focus on VOD review and actually focus on what they're doing and try and mimic it in your gameplay, which in my opinion is still the best way to improve, is by actually like writing down what pro players do and then try and implement it into your own gameplay. But you don't need to go that sweaty to actually just improve and VOD review. What you can literally do is watch Benji Fishy, watch Mongrel, watch Mitro, watch people, like any player. You don't need to be as cracked mechanically as them to try and implement things that they do, and you don't need to write it down on a piece of paper. 100% it'll help you remember it and you'll do better long term. But if you're not that sweaty and you just want to improve a little bit, watch Benji Fishy for like an hour and just pick up on small things he does. It doesn't need to be like an insane high ground retake that you take from his gameplay and try and implement it into yours. You can literally just, like, some things when I watch Benji Fishy, I notice he doesn't go on the bottom of the hill. He stays on the top of the hill, so that way he doesn't get sandwiched if someone is at the top of the hill and he starts shooting down. Every single time he goes for a chest, he builds where he thinks people are going to be. That way when he's opening the chest, he doesn't get billed in a headshot with a sniper, or I guess in this case, in this season, he doesn't get billed in the head with a AR shot, right? So little just small things like that, anyone can do. You don't need to be a pro player to build around a chest, right? But it's just small things you pick up on. So literally just watching a pro player and picking up small things and putting it into your own gameplay will really help you improve. Like I said, you don't need to take out like obviously most people watching this video aren't going to be as good as Benji Fishy mechanically, right? But you can still take out things that he does in his own gameplay and put it into yours. And you don't even need to watch that long. Literally watch 1 or 2 games a day, right? Now my last tip, and this is probably the best one I can give to people who are struggling, who aren't the best players, who may not be like an amateur pro or finishing in tournaments, who just want to play, get a little bit better, do a little bit better, get a couple more wins, is you need to improve your basic mechanics. Now, if you don't know what mechanics are, it's the 3 basically main things. It's building, editing, and aiming. And I'm not saying you need to become a pro player. I'm not saying you need to become Click's mechanics or Benji Fishy or Booga's mechanics. Just need to improve them a little bit, and the best way to do that is, like I said in the last couple tips, is one would be creative. By playing those zone wars, by playing box fights, by playing with your friends in creative, you're really going to be forced to practice your aiming, you're going to be forced to practice your building. And if you're just going into creative and not building at all and just shooting at people, well, you're probably not going to get a better builder, right? So really force yourself and be like, hey, I'm going to practice building. If I die, I die, right? Like, it's not a big deal. It's zone wars, it's a bit box fight, it doesn't matter if I die. Just go into the game and go into creative and practice building. Same with like arena, or even with normal solo games or duo games. If you die, you die. It's not a big deal, right? Like, just go into the game and think, okay, I'm really going to work on building towards people. I'm really going to work on making sure my shotgun aims as crisp as I possibly can get it, right? You don't need to go in and grind aim for 4 or 5 hours a day. Just really focus on forcing yourself to build, forcing yourself to edit, forcing yourself to shoot your shotgun or stuff like that, right? Like, just forcing yourself and reminding yourself that, okay, I'm really going to build towards players instead of this time just crouching and shooting, right? Like, that way you're going to become better as your basic mechanics. And a lot of the people who aren't that good, all they really need to do is just improve their basic mechanics, and then that way they become a better player, right? So hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, make sure you slap a like button on it, comment what you want to see for a future video, hit that subscribe button, use creator code WraithFN in the item shop, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.